Alec, 27 years old, was verbally attacked out of the blue by his younger sister, Antonia, whom he hadn't seen in years. She called him a high school dropout and told him to leave because he was in the way. Alec knew she didn't think highly of him for dropping out of high school, but he never expected such harsh words. It seemed like she wanted him out so she could live with their parents in their new apartment. Angry, Alec decided to leave without doing anything. She had always belittled him, and now he thought she deserved to suffer. My name is Alec, and I'm 27 years old. Being an avid gamer since childhood, I made up my mind to pursue a career in the game industry and create games of my own. I dropped out of high school and chose this path. Mom and Dad, I've decided to quit high school. Haha, Alec, what's gotten into you? Are you really going to quit? That's right. Given the current circumstances, it would be better for you to at least graduate from high school. Don't you think? It's fine. I have something I want to do, and I've never been good at studying anyway. If it's studying games, couldn't you do that while attending high school? We can provide financial support if needed. Your father and I don't want you to regret it later, Alec. Thank you, Mom and Dad, but I'm sure about this. I've found something I really want to pursue. I see. If that's what Alec wants, we'll support you. It's Alec's chosen path. Just make sure you don't regret it, okay? Thank you both so much. I'm glad you understand. I was most anxious about convincing my parents, but despite their worries, they ultimately supported me. That's when my younger sister Antonia, who had been listening to our conversation, burst in angrily. Hey, stop messing around. Dropping out of high school is a joke, right? It's embarrassing, you know. I'm sorry, Antonia, but sis, I have something I want to pursue. I don't know anything about that. It's seriously embarrassing to be a high school dropout and ask our parents for money. Can you please stop asking for money from our parents? I work properly, and I have no intention of causing trouble for Mom and Dad. It's still a hassle for me, you know? If it's a lie, just leave the house. Why would it come to that? It's obvious, isn't it? Having a high school dropout at home is embarrassing. What will you do if your friends find out? She focused solely on the fact that he dropped out of high school, ignoring his reasons and explanation about pursuing his own goal. Then, their father, who had been listening, spoke up. Antonia, calm down. Alec isn't quitting school just to be ready, you know? Dad, why are you saying such naive things? He's just saying those things because he doesn't want to study. He even admitted that he's not good at it. Did you really listen to what Alec had to say? He has something he wants to pursue. That's just empty talk. At this rate, he'll just end up working part-time and begging for money in this house. Is that okay with you, Dad? Antonia, education isn't everything. Your mother and I want to prioritize what Alec wants to do as a parent. So please don't blame Alec too much. Seriously? Aren't you and Mom idiots? Falling for what Alec says. Just do whatever you want. But let me tell you, I'll never become a scholar like Alec. From that point on, my sister completely ignored me. Despite attending the same middle school, our relationship became distant, almost like strangers. She no longer talked to me at home as she used to, and the vibe between us grew deeper. As if it were a deliberate harassment towards me, Antonia changed her preferred school and enrolled in a prestigious high school with a high entrance exam score. It must have been around that time. My sister began to look down on me even more and started making snide remarks. Aren't you embarrassed, big brother? A high school dropout still living at home. It's fine since my workplace is close to home. I'm covering my living expenses too. You are just lying to avoid being ridiculed by me, aren't you? How did you even come up with such a sarcastic thought? Please can't you start trusting me a little? Trust a high school dropout working as a part-time employee? You are such an idiot. I mean it. But more importantly, I want you to leave soon. Even after working for several years, my sister never acknowledged me. Her constant attacks only made the atmosphere at home worse. Feeling guilty towards my parents, I reluctantly decided to move out and live on my own. Eventually, I turned 27 years old, and my sister turned 26. Antonia, who graduated from a prestigious high school, went on to attend a renowned private university, and now lives alone while working at a major company. One day, I received a rare phone call from our mother. Hello, Mom, what's up? I'm sorry to bother you even though you're busy. I actually have something I wanted to discuss. A discussion? If it's something I can help with, go ahead. Well, you see, this house has gotten quite old, and Dad and I have been thinking about whether to sell the land and move or build. I see, it's true that we've been living here since our grandfather's time, so it might be time for a change. Exactly, I mentioned it to Antonia, but she said we should decide on our own. That's why I want to hear Alec's opinion. I see, understood. I'll do some research and think about it. Thank you. That would be a great help, please. After hanging up the phone, I immediately started looking into available properties. If we were to move, it would be the best to find a place where both Mom and Dad could live comfortably. Considering their age and the potential difficulties of moving, it would also be important to choose a place with good security for any unforeseen circumstances. As I searched for an apartment, my father called me for another discussion. Alec, it's me. We've actually decided to sell the land, and I've been looking into apartments. Father, I was actually researching too, trying to find a suitable place for both you and Mom. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Alec, if you are willing, would you consider living together with us? Me too? I know this may sound inconvenient for us, but we discussed it with our mother, and we would feel more at ease if you were with us, especially in case anything happened. Is that okay? No, I don't mind at all. If it's okay with you, Dad and Mom. Really? If Alec is willing to live with us, it would put our minds at ease. Don't worry about the financial aspect. We'll figure it out somehow. My father's voice became lighter, filled with joy. No, since we'll be living together, I'd contribute as well. But in return, let's make sure to visit the properties together, all three of us. Oh yes, that's a good idea. I'll let your mother know right away. And so it was decided that my parents and I would move into a new apartment. And we planned to visit several properties over the weekend. After much deliberation, we decided on a high-rise condo, prioritizing livability and security. However, the funds from selling the family land were not enough to cover the expenses. As a result, my parents would provide the down payment while I would take care of the monthly mortgage payments. My parents lamented the burden placed on me, but to me it was a trivial matter. I felt that it was a small price to pay for the parents who had respected my opinions and supported me in the past. Being able to repay them was a cheap cost in my eyes. It was some time later when Antonia called our mother. "Mom, it's been a while. I want to visit your new place." "That's fine, but..." My mother hesitated for a moment. "I have some plans here too, and it would be inconvenient on short notice. I'm bringing my husband along. Just give me the address." "Your husband?" It was then that I found out for the first time that my sister had gotten married. Not only was I unaware, but it seemed our parents were completely kept in the dark as well. The sudden revelation caused my mother's voice to become agitated. "Hold on, Antonia. What were you thinking, getting married without informing your parents? What's the big deal? I'm already over 20, you know." "That's not the issue here. We were regularly keeping in touch with you, and you didn't even bother to reply. And now you are telling me you are married? Oh, come on, stop nagging. I'll invite you when we have a wedding ceremony. So don't be so pessimistic." "That's not the point I'm trying to make. Anyway, I'm bringing my husband next time, so please behave in a way that's not embarrassing as parents, okay? Bye." "Wait a minute, Antonia." The call from my sister abruptly ended, cutting my mother off mid-sentence. I couldn't believe it. Antonia, of all people, got married without anyone knowing. But even what shocked me even more was her disrespectful attitude towards our mother. The Antonia I knew may have had a flashy appearance, but she always had a strong affection for our parents. Yet now, after several years of not seeing her, she was being rude and dismissive towards them. I couldn't shake off a sense of unease deep inside me. Antonia and her husband arrived at our house after a while. As soon as they entered the living room, my sister gave me a disgusted look. "Hey, why is a high school dropout working part-time here?" "Antonia, long time no see, even though it's been years since we last met. You are already calling me a high school dropout?" "Well, it's a fact, isn't it? And why are you here when my husband is also here? It's embarrassing." "Don't say it like that. Besides, you kept your marriage a secret, and it worried both mom and dad, you know." "Enough already. There's no reason for them to worry. My husband works at the same company as me, and he's expected to have the fastest career advancement there." "Well, if that's the case, but you should have told us about such an important thing in advance from now on, alright?" "Uh-huh. What's your problem? Why do I have to be lectured by someone like you?" My sister glared at me in frustration. Then her husband said something outrageous. "Hey, calm down, Antonia. So your brother is a high school dropout? No matter what a high school dropout says, you shouldn't care about it." "I know that, but just looking at his face makes me irritated." "Even Antonia being angry is cute. Your brother and I are just jealous of the elite like you. It's just plain envy." "That may be true, but..." "We live in different worlds, so it can't be helped. Honestly, having your brother here in this high
Light's condo feels out of place, don't you think?
Yeah, you're right. It feels refreshing. I don't even want to see his face anymore. Can you leave soon? My sister laughed at me mockingly and said, Seeing this, our parents quickly intervened.
What are you saying on your first meeting? Even though he's your daughter's husband, please don't speak ill of our son.
That's right, Antonia. Apologize to Alec. This house in the first place. You two should stay quiet. Isn't your son just marching around this condo? It's seriously creepy.
Stop it, Antonia. Don't make baseless assumptions and say things. You are supposed to be smart.
We asked Alec to live with us willingly. Are you two always going to protect this idiot brother of mine? If you are so worried, my husband and I can live together with you, right? Isn't that fine?
My sister not only refused to listen, but continued to talk one-sidedly. Finally, she glared at me with a fierce expression. At that moment, all the pent-up resentment towards my sister exploded. She used to be such a caring and loving child to our parents. Now, she's just selfish and self-centered. What could have changed her so much? She is no longer the sister that both I and our parents know. I've reached my limit of tolerating the because we're family excuse. If she's going to say that, then I also have my own thoughts on the matter. Suppressing the urge to yell, I calmly spoke to my sister. Fine, if that's what you are saying, then I'll leave just as Antonia wants. But in return, can you really entrust Mom and Dad to you?
Of course, Mom and Dad would feel more at ease with us as a married couple than with a part-time worker like you, right?
I see. Okay then. And about the financial matter here.
I said it's fine. Don't act all high and mighty, okay? I'll make sure to pay my share of the utilities. I have a higher income than you, so I can afford it.
Understood then. I'll move out by the end of this week.
Good. Leave soon. Well, I'm going home for today. After venting my frustrations, my sister and her husband left triumphantly. In the silence that filled the room, it was my mother who spoke first. Wait, Alec, are you serious about moving out? You are paying the monthly mortgage for this house.
Don't worry, Mom. If Antonia and her husband pay for it instead, everything will be fine. If there's any problem, I'll come back right away.
But
I'm really angry this time too, I have to admit. I want to teach them a lesson. I'm sorry for making you worry, Mom, but I'll be okay. My parents exchanged glances and seemed to have made a decision. Alright, let's support Alec's plan.
Understood, but Alec, don't forget. We truly appreciate everything you've done for us.
I know, Mom, Dad, if you ever encounter any difficulties, please contact me immediately. I'll come back anytime. Thank you, Alec. Leave Antonia and her husband to us. I bid farewell to my parents and decided to return to living alone.
1 month later, while enjoying a rare day off, I received a phone call from Antonia. As soon as I answered the call, she started shouting at an incredible speed. What's going on, big brother? I was told to pay the mortgage. Does this house have a mortgage? Or wasn't it purchased outright?
What are you talking about? Do you even know how much that high-rise condo costs?
But you sold the family land, right? Dad used the money to buy it outright, didn't he?
The family land didn't. fetch that much money. I used the proceeds as a down payment, and I've been paying the mortgage.
What, you? Don't leave. A low-income part-time worker like you can't possibly have that kind of money.
You know, I've been meaning to tell you this for a while, but I'm not a part-time worker.
Huh? Finally, Antonia started to listen to my words. Seizing the opportunity, I confronted her with the truth.
I've always loved video games and wanted to create my own, so I dropped out of high school and started working. I taught myself programming.
What, programming? So what do you do now?
A few years ago, I started my own company developing mobile games.
What, a business owner? That's a lie. You probably just relied on our parents again.
What's the point of lying about something like this?
Enough! I'll see for myself by looking at Dad's bank book. With her phone in hand, my sister started rummaging through it. But a few minutes later, she let out a cry of despair. What is this? Why is Dad's bank book completely empty?
Didn't I tell you? The money from selling the land was used as a down payment.
Then what about the mortgage for this condo? Are you really the one paying it?
I've been saying that all along, haven't I? I tried to tell you that when you came to our house the other day, but you never listened. Well, I've been kicked out now, so I won't be paying the mortgage anymore.
Is that so? Then what will happen to us? We can't afford the mortgage.
If you can't afford it, then you'll have to leave.
We'll be in trouble if we get kicked out now. According to my sister, she and her husband had gotten addicted to gambling and had accumulated significant debt. They had fallen behind on rent, and they had been evicted from their previous apartment. As a result, they came up with the idea of moving into the high-rise condo. They mistakenly believed that selling the family land had given our father financial flexibility. Realizing their huge miscalculation, Antonia's voice became tearful. Please, big brother, I'll allow you to live together. Just come back right away.
Allow me? There's no way I'm doing that.
No, it's just that.
Are you still looking down on me even in this situation? Let me make it clear, I will never come back as long as you are in that high-rise condo. If you really want me to, you and your husband can pay the mortgage. You are the ones who angered me, remember?
Please, big brother, help us.
Don't keep calling me big brother, only when it's convenient for you.
I became slowly disgusted with my sister, who seemed to have too much of a self-serving attitude. I took a deep breath and yelled into the phone.
Asking for help now, it's just too convenient for you. You've been looking down on me all this time. And now, you're asking for help at this point? You're already a stranger to me. I won't help you no matter what happens. If you understand, never contact me again.
Driven by anger, I hung up the phone and blocked my sister's contact. After that, my sister and her husband were forcibly evicted by our parents. They are desperately looking for a place to live, but being burdened with debt, it will be challenging to find a property that passes the screening. As a result, both of them are facing difficulties at work. The husband is not only failing to get promoted, but is also becoming a burden to his company. My sister, on the other hand, made a major mistake at work
and was immediately fired. Truly, they brought this upon themselves. As for me, I received an offer from my parents to live together again, and we started living as a family of 3 in that condo once more. Seeing my parents happy every day warms my heart as well. I owe my current situation to my parents, who respected my decisions. For their sake, I want to continue being a filial child as much as I can.